The glass door slid open with a hiss, and the human stepped into the cold ward where no one else wanted to go. The alien girl sat alone under blue lights, her damaged limb folded tight, her silver eyes empty. Every nurse avoided her. Every visitor kept their distance. The human did not. He walked straight to her, placed a small metal feather on the table and said, "If you let me, I will return your sky." Cade Rowan had the tired look of someone who carried his home on his back. He was not a soldier now, though he had been. He was not a doctor, but he fixed broken drones and broken heaters and sometimes broken hearts in refugee stations across the belt. He arrived on Station Harrow with one duffel and one promise he never said out loud. No one is left behind. He found her name on the ward chart, Luri of the Keen. Her people were tall, graceful, built for light gravity and long sky bridges. Luri was not tall now. She sat small, almost folded, because one of her 4 walking limbs had been replaced by a dull metal brace after a fall during evacuation. The brace clicked when she moved. The nurses called it functional. The Keen called it unclean. And the Keen, who once sang together in sunlit plazas, had moved on without her. Cade stood by her table. The metal feather, a piece of a scrapped scout drone, caught the ward light. He had polished it on the shuttle ride because he wanted to offer a gift that said more than words. Luri stared at the feather. "Is that a symbol?" she asked softly. Her voice carried a faint tremor, like a string pulled tight. "It is a promise," Cade said. "This used to fly, it forgot how, we can teach it again." Her silver eyes flicked up. "Humans teach metal to fly. Every day," he said. "Sometimes we also teach ourselves." She glanced at the doorway where people never came. "Why are you here?" "Because you are here," Cade answered. "Because everyone deserves someone to stand near them." Luri looked back at the feather. "The Keen Council marked me as broken. I cannot return to the Loom cities. I cannot mate bond. I cannot sing the road songs. They said I will only slow the climb." "Then we will build a road that fits your step," Cade said. She made a small sound. It could have been a laugh, or a wound. Station Harrow was a tired circle of metal, stitched to an asteroid like a ring to a scar. Its corridors smelled of antiseptic and heating coils. Engineers patched leaks. Traders counted credits. No one had time for an outcast. Cade made time. He came every day. He brought simple tools and simple stories. He adjusted the brace that clicked. He showed Luri how to balance weight differently. He printed softer pads for the metal foot. He swapped out a stiff joint for a flexible one built from a cargo exoglove. He drew diagrams with a carpenter's pencil because machines listened when lines were honest. "Why do you do this?" Luri asked one morning, when he was on the floor beside her tightening a microscopic band. Cade considered. "When I was a soldier, a friend once saved me. He carried me when I could not walk. He told me something I have never forgotten." "What did he say?" He said, "You deserve the rest of the climb." Cade met her eyes. "So do you." Luri blinked fast as if dust had found her. "The Keen say a mate must be perfect to carry perfect children. The universe has never met a perfect person," Cade said. "It would be bored if it did." She made that almost laugh again. "Humans are strange, better than cruel," he said, "though we can be both." He did not hide his own thin scars. He did not hide the tremor in his left hand when the ward got too quiet, and because he did not hide, she did not hide either. They moved from silence to small talk, from small talk to long questions, from questions to stories that lived between them like a lamp. When the nurses changed shifts, Luri practiced walking. Her steps were careful. The brace still clicked. But Cade had taught her to pause at each step, breathe and find her center. He called it making a new rhythm. She called it not falling. Both were true. One evening, the station lights dimmed to simulate dusk. Cade found Luri near the viewport. The stars were thick and cold, like salt poured into an endless bowl. The asteroid fields turned slow as if they were thinking. Luri spoke without turning. "I used to climb the wind ladders on Keen 2. We lock our limbs and rise together. The ladders hum. The air smells like copper and sky wine. There is a song. To climb alone is shame, to fall is worse. Cade stood beside her. "Who taught you that?" "My mother. And her mother." Lurie's voice thinned. "When I fell during the flight, the council said the ladders would not risk me again. They said I should be put away. A glass place, quiet, far from the songs." Cade tightened his jaw. He looked at the reflection of her in the viewport, an outline of a girl with a metal limb she did not ask for. "You are not a risk," he said. "You are a person." Lurie turned to him. The blue ward light smoothed her features into something fragile and fierce. "Cade, humans form bonds differently, yes? Choice, not assignment." He nodded. "Choice is our stubborn religion. And if—" She paused. Her crest ridges lifted, a keen sign of courage. "If a human chose a Keen who is not perfect, would that be shame?" Cade's heart pressed against his ribs like it wanted out. He kept his voice steady. "It would be honor." Silence, the stars turned. "Then I will tell you something," Lurie said. "My people have an old bonding rite older than the council. It is quiet. It does not need ladders. Two stand under open sky. One offers a feather. The other accepts. They promise to lift each other step by step, even if one limps." Cade stared at the polished drone feather on the table behind them. He had not known Keen rites. He had simply brought what he had. "Will you stand under an open sky with me?" Lurie asked. Her voice shook, but it did not hide. Cade did not answer with words. He took her metal hand in his human one. The ward lights and the stars and the hum of the station fell away, until only their joined hands remained. The open sky they found was not a planet's sky. It was the station's emergency dome on the outer ring, transparent and thin, with alarms slumbering and maintenance drones looping slow. It was enough. They went there after midnight cycle. Cade wore his old field jacket. Lurie wore a grey wrap that softened the hard lines of the brace. He had repaired the brace again, fine-tuned it until the click was a whisper. They stood under the dome. Space stretched down like a sea without bottom. Lurie breathed shallow, then deeper. Cade held out the metal feather. "Lurie of the Keen," he said, because old words deserved weight. "I offer what I can carry. I ask to carry part of you." She cupped the feather, both flesh and metal fingers around it. Her crest ridges flickered with warm light from within, a keen blush. "Cade Rowan," she said, "I accept what you offer. And I offer what I can carry. I ask to carry part of you." Then the emergency dome decided to test the lovers. A siren cut the quiet. Red lights rolled across the floor. The dome's status strip flashed. Microfracture, external impact risk. A scatter of debris, tiny, deadly, was coming on a bad vector. The system sealed bulkheads. An automated voice told them to evacuate. Cade pulled Lurie toward the hatch. The floor trembled. A small crack spidered across the dome's edge like frost. The station was old and age remembered how to break. "Go," Cade shouted. "I'll secure the latch." Lurie gripped his sleeve. "Not without you." Another shudder. A loose panel snapped free, clanged, skittered toward the drop. The door servo whined, jammed, then stalled halfway. Cade threw his shoulder into it. The old pain in his ribs sang. He pushed. It did not move. Lurie stared at the door, at the jammed servo. Her breathing picked up, fast and sharp. This was the part where she always slowed the climb. This was the part where she broke the rhythm. "Not this time, Cade, show me," she said. He blinked. "What?" "Teach me the weight. Show me the balance, the new rhythm." Lurie's voice steadied. "No glass places, no shame. We move together." Cade swallowed. He jabbed a finger at the servo housing. "Torque here, counter here. I need pressure on that top edge while I wedge the lower track. Your metal limb can take the stress if you set your weight like, yes, like that." She planted the brace foot into the grating. The whisper click was there, but the sound no longer meant broken. It meant ready. She leaned in, the brace absorbed, the metal toes bit. Her flesh limbs found angles honed by days of quiet practice. Cade wedged the tool, grunted, lifted. The door slid, just a little. Enough. They pushed together. The door chunked open. The alarm voice softened. Clear path, evacuate. They moved. Slow was fast. Steady was speed. Step by step, they crossed the threshold and sealed the inner hatch. The emergency dome shuddered behind them, then held. The alarms cut. The quiet returned, deeper now, as if the station itself had exhaled. Cade leaned against the wall, breathless. Lurie leaned beside him. Their shoulders touched. Her crest ridges glowed, then settled. "You changed the rhythm," Cade said, smiling with all the tired joy in him. "We changed it," Lurie said. She lifted the feather between them. "Bonding is not a ladder. It is a bridge we build while walking." Word spread, as small good things do. By morning, half the maintenance crew had heard a version of the story that made Cade look much braver than he felt, and Lurie much weaker than she was. Rumors are lazy. Truth walks slower but longer. The truth was this. Lurie reported to the rehab bay on her own. She did not ask permission from the keen council that had left her. She did not seek the glass place. She asked for the workshop. Cade arranged a temporary permit. They set up on a small bench near the back. They built a new brace together, lighter, flexible, tuned to her gait, with a hidden power assist that activated only when she needed to climb. Cade handled the rough shaping. Lurie handled the fine linkages. Her hands, though shaken by pain some days, were precise as rain. A young nurse walked over, curious. "What are you two making?" she asked. "An answer," Lurie said simply. Cade glanced at her. "And a beginning." They tested the brace along the corridor. Lurie took 10 steps, then 20. She paused, listened to her body, and took 10 more. She did not ask the brace to make her someone else. She asked it to make room for who she already was. By the end of the week, she could cross the station ring without sitting down. By the end of 2, she could climb the maintenance ladder to the observation deck, not with speed, but with certainty. She placed each metal footpad on each rung as if speaking a language she had once been told she could not learn. Cade followed below, one rung back, not leading, not pushing, just there. He did not tell her she was brave. He let her find it. At the top, the deck doors opened to the same old stars. Lurie stood tall as the brace allowed, and tilted her face to the dark. "My sky," she said. "Our sky," Cade said quietly. The keen council finally sent someone, an envoy with smooth hands and a voice like a polite knife. She brought a formal message. It said that Lurie could be reinstated if she agreed to live in a special house with rails and monitors and no ladders, far from the main plazas, and only work small tasks, and never attempt mate bonding for the safety of the future song. Lurie listened. She nodded. She thanked the envoy for traveling far. Then she folded the letter along the crease and returned it. "I have a mate bond," she said, calm and clear. The envoy blinked. "A human?" he asked, the last word shaped like doubt. "A human," Lurie said. "And myself." The envoy hesitated. "Your children will learn both songs," Cade said from the doorway. He did not step forward. He did not raise his voice. He simply stood with his hand visible at his side, palm open. "And they will be taught that a ladder is a choice, not a prison." The envoy left with nothing more to say. Power does not know what to do when someone keeps their own. The station gave Lurie a small job in the drone bay. She learned the hum of motors, the riddle of gyros, the patience of balance. She taught the tiniest machines to find their sky again. Cade kept fixing heaters and hearts. He found himself smiling more. He found his tremor less. He found that when he woke in the night from old battles, there was a soft hand, flesh and metal, that touched his shoulder and brought him back. They did not talk in big words about destiny. They did not promise never to fall. Instead, they built a practice. Mornings they walked the ring. Afternoons, work. Nights, stories. On rest days, they returned to the emergency dome, now repaired, and stood under their open sky, silent, holding the metal feather between them like a star they could touch. One evening, during a meteor drift, the dome filled with gentle streaks of light. Lurie leaned into Cade. "Do you believe the universe watches us?" she asked. "I think it watches everything," Cade said. "But I think it smiles when we lift each other." She considered. "Then we should keep giving it reasons." They did. Weeks later, a ship docked from Keen 2 with a mixed crew, keen and human, and one crab-shaped trader who swore in 5 languages. They came to see a rumor, a keen woman with a metal limb who climbed without shame, who found a bond where her council saw only loss. They watched Lurie demonstrate the brace. They watched her teach a young, keen child, born with a weak limb, how to balance on a practice bar, how to listen to breath, how to pause without fear. The child laughed when she found the rhythm. The crew cheered. The crab trader cried, which he insisted was from dust. A keen mechanic approached Cade later. "Human," he said, awkward. "We were wrong. We thought strength meant all parts the same, but the bridge you built." He gestured toward the brace, the child, the dome. "It holds." Cade did not say, "I told you so." He only said, "Help us build more." They did. The day Lurie and Cade made their bond public, there were no ladders, no council, no treaties. There was the dome, the feather, and a crowd of station folk, nurses, mechanics, traders, the keen mechanic, the child with the practice bar, the crab trader with a clean handkerchief. Cade spoke first, because words were heavy, and he had learned to lift them. "I once thought I had no right to ask for joy," he said. "I was wrong. Joy is not taken. It is made with hands, with patience, with someone brave enough to stand beside you when the alarms go off." Lurie held up the feather. "I once thought I had no place in the song," she said. "I was wrong. The song makes room when we sing where we are." They placed the feather between their palms. The dome lights dimmed. The stars pressed close. The crowd was very quiet. "We promise," Cade said. "We promise," Lurie echoed. "To lift each other, step by step," they said together, "even if one limps." There was no ring to exchange. No legal stamp in that moment, though both would come later. There was only a vow old as bridges and new as dawn. The crowd exhaled. The child cheered. The crab trader sobbed into his handkerchief. Outside, the meteors continued their slow silver writing across the dark. The universe watched. If it smiled, no one could prove it. But Cade felt something like a smile move through him, light as a feather and strong as a ladder. He looked at Lurie and she looked at him. And in that simple gaze was the truth he had been carrying since the first day in the Cold Ward. No one is left behind. Not anymore. Not here and never again.